Are you afraid of spiders? Have you encountered spiders before? I want to share my story with me and my experience with spiders. And I used to be really, really afraid of spiders. That's because I was like traumatized. I never bitten by spiders though. But there's a thing, something worse happened. So when I was in like age of 12, I was still in China and I live in a really old neighborhood, and that was like in a really old apartment. It doesn't even have a elevator. I have to like walk up the concrete stairs, and yeah, because it's an old community, old apartment, old building, so it's really easy to get like dirty, and you always have some bugs in your room. And I remember so there was one day I was like showering. So the shower, uh, it's I guess it's on the ceiling, and there's actually a small space behind the shower, like between the shower and the ceiling. And I think some spiders actually, made home there. And so one day I was like showering, I was washing my head, because the water directly come from the top. So I was closing my eyes, and when I was washing my head, and after I finished it, I opened my eye and I saw a spider that has the size of the tip of your thumb, was like hanging right in front of my eyes. It's like between my eyes and like above my nose. And I still remember the spider was like black and yellow, and I can see its eight legs was like moving around. It's like just hanging in front of my eye, like because it was so close I couldn't even see it really clearly. And I was really lucky because I was actually at the time before I closed my eye, I was actually thinking, oh, do I lower my head or do I just like stand still? And I eventually chose to stand still to wash my head. If I lower my head, the spider gonna land on my head. And I don't know why the spider actually chose to go down when I was like showering. Because spiders like bugs, they are usually afraid of humans and they don't want to show their presence when the humans are around. But maybe this spider want to say hi to me. But sorry, man, you're a spider. I was afraid of you. And at the time, I was totally shocked. I was like frozen for a few seconds. And my first reaction is to slap it away with my right hand. And it got slapped away. It got flew to somewhere. I couldn't find it later on. Maybe it's like a fleet away. And I slapped away. And I started breathing heavily. After a few seconds, I started screaming. So I already forgot to scream at the moment. And then my parents, my mom just come in and check what's going on. I was like 12 years old, and I was really afraid. And I thought, oh, there's a spider hanging in front of my face. I was actually really scared because the spider has a chance to land on my head. And I'm not sure if that's poison or not. But later on, I did find that there's like a spider net above the shower, so I use the water to clean the top, and there's no spiders seen. So that's like the biggest time. And also there's like a few other times later on, and there's one time, it's actually on this February or like January in Canada. So I was living in a classic Canadian house. It was like shared, and I was living in the second floor. And because the house was like really old. Again, that's an indication. That's a signal that you shouldn't. If you're afraid of spiders, you don't want to live in a wooden house. So, because yeah, that's another story. But anyways, I got no choice. I had to rent the house at the time. I will actually tell you a story about my renting experience later on. So I have to rent this house, and I was living in a small room, and my bed was against the wall. And because the old house, they were using a really old heating system. Like you have the hot air coming from like a vent or something, you know. So there's an opening for the hot air to circulate, and I think the spider came from there. And unfortunately, there was one of the opening is right beneath my bed. It's against the wall and also beneath my bed. And I think the spider came from there. So that was like a 5 p.m. around like 5 p.m. in the morning, and I got woken up for some reason because like I felt I was like lying on something hard, like a small thing that's just like really hard. It's like on the back, on my back, like on my left back, it's like the position of my right side kidney, and and then I was like, I got woken up. Because that was already like 5, so you got a little bit light, not too much light, and with that little bit light, I was able to see there's like a black dot. It's like the size of the nail of your small finger or your index finger, I think. And I was like, okay, that probably be a spider. Yeah, that was like my first reaction because I actually got like small black spiders in my room before, but they never goes to my bed, especially when I was sleeping. And then I turn on the light, and you know what? Yep, that's a spider got crushed by me. Yeah, it's already like flattened. It's like a spider pancake, and and I took picture. The spider was like a small with 8 legs and it was crushed into like totally flat. I took picture and post on Instagram story. It's like, good morning, 5 a.m. It's like a best day in Canada, seeing having a spider sleeping with me, and then I just like throw it away into the trash can and go back to sleep because I was like really sleepy, to be honest. And I think because I was really sleepy, I even forgot to have a reaction or like being afraid. And there's like also times when I try to wash my face, there's actually a like a long leg spider hiding in my wash basin. It's like it's just like a really common type of the long leg spider that's gonna actually haunting the small box for you. But it was hiding right beneath the faucet. It's like I was trying to wash my face and it just popped up. That actually scared me at that time. But I just like drove away. And also like other chances, there's actually one period I was living in a high level building, and I actually got a spider in my room for some reason. It was actually hanging right on the so I have a calendar like a whiteboard, and there's calendar on that. I just like place it in front of my desk to remind me what to do. It's like my Google Calendar, but in physics form. And the spider was like hanging on my whiteboard. I had no idea how it got there because that was an apartment and I was not using the old heating system, and it was like a high level ceiling and I had no idea where it comes from. Probably they can just fly with the wind or like they climb up the wall, but that's gonna be crazy because that's like really high. But they were like really, I don't know where they come from, but also like in that high level apartment, there's also actually many spiders live between the floors, like I had a big window in the living room, and when I look up, through the window, like I try to look to the floor above me, I can see some like a like a big spider, actually a big spider, like living there and moving around. Not really moving around, just like a building net there. But you know, after after probably a few years ago, I actually stopped to be afraid of the spiders, and I actually think because they're like a beneficial bugs. And the biggest reason is that I start to have a garden. Um, and the garden is always like has a really high chance to be infected by the like the bugs. Um, like the most common ones, aphids and thrips, and they multiply so quick, and they're gonna reproduce a lot, like occupy the entire plant. Like every single leaf of the plant is occupied, is full of the bugs. That was actually disgusting. And every time I have to use a lot of insecticide and or like a garlic water to kill them. But that also kills the plants too. Like sometimes I have to cut all the leaf of the plant. And that actually has a really high chance to kill the plant as well. So I hate them so fucking so much. And but there's one day, like I was like planting a tomato in the balcony, and that tomato and there was actually a ladybug, that fly to my tomato and actually live there, and the ladybug is actually cute, and it just go to eat the aphids, and then go back to the leaf, and just leave. The ladybug was like living on one of the leaves, and I actually observed that one of the day it was raining, the ladybug just hiding itself like beneath the leaf. And as I think that's actually a adorable creature. So that ladybug helped me a lot to to kill the aphids. But the aphids are like too many, to be honest. I have no idea how they reproduce so fast. But also like because of the aphids, it's kind of like a small, bioecological circle, or like a metabolism circle. Um, what do you call it? Oh, food chain. Yeah, food chain. So because you have the aphids and the tribes, and there's gonna be like ladybugs and the spiders that try to hunt them. And that actually, that's a time that I won't have a spider in my garden. And for many times, the spiders are like really tiny. They're not like giant spiders. They're just like, how to say, how tiny, how to describe it? It is so tiny. Um, it's basically the size like the tip of a pen. So it's really, really small. But they actually can build a pretty big net, like relatively to their size. And that's actually killing a lot of the aphids. But even though even the my plants was still not saved, I have to throw the plants away so it doesn't infect the other plants. But that's the time when I see a spider in my garden, I was like, oh, save her, oh my god, little helpers. So I stop hating them, because most of the time the spider are not gonna hurt you, unless it's like a black widow. But we don't really have black widow in Canada. It's not Australia. I'm sorry, but you know, and so the spider are afraid of humans most of the time, because humans are like giant creatures, relative to them. And when you see a spider in your house, that means that there's actually a food chain to support the hunters like them. So you might have like a silverfish, or in some like 1,000 areas like cockroaches, or like in my garden there's aphids and tribes, and the spider gonna hunt them for you. If you kill the spider, you actually gonna have like more of the bugs you hate and in the room, because nobody gonna hunt them for you, and you're not gonna hunt it by yourself, because humans are actually a bad hunter. We're no longer like our ancestor in Africa who hunts like, like a pro. And just imagine, do you want to have a spider who don't really care about you, who's gonna you avoid to be seen from you most of the time, or want to have like a bunch of fucking roaches or silverfish or aphids in your living area? I'd rather choose spider, to be honest. At least some spider actually looks cool, you know. It's just a little bit annoying that spider builds such a big net sometimes. I remember like first year I was in Canada, I was like so surprised because I was living in the basement, one of the house, and the basement is facing to the backyard, and that was also an old house. I'm tired of the old houses. So I'm sorry, but that's like too many old houses in Canada. And there's like spider. I was so surprised that spider can build nets so fast. Like I remember there was a spider that hanging their net on like so between two trees, and also the third anchor point is on the ground, like on the grass. So you have a net. It's like a upside down triangle. So from one tree to another tree, and also connect to the bottom of the yard, and I was like so surprised. I took picture and sent to my friend in China. It looked like the spider, like Canadian spider or something else. But you don't want to walk into their net. I remember like in the first year, cause there's like too many spiders to be honest, because that was like really old house, and especially during summer, there's always a high chance for you to walk into a spider net, especially if you walk into the net with your hair, like your head. That's gonna be a nightmare because that feels really really weird. It's like something sticky on your head, and you can't really see it, and you don't want to have a spider on your hair. And I actually got nightmares about that, for a few times in the first year. I was like really young, like a kid. And yeah, but like, so after like so many years, I already, learned to recognize a spider web before walking into it or try to avoid it. So I think that's like another ability that spiders taught me. Yeah, so that's it. Leave your comment if you want to share your experience about spiders as well. And see you next time.